Hi once again, everyone. After a little bit of a respite, Weather for Weather Geeks is back. Jess and I attended the 20th Ohio Severe Weather Symposium down on the campus of Ohio State University on Friday. It's a cool one-day conference, free of charge, put on by the students. I was involved in this when I was a student at Ohio State, and I actually spoke at this conference back in 2012. We had a great time, met a lot of great people. I saw a lot of faces I hadn't seen in a while, and we were fortunate enough to meet Mike Bettis from the Weather Channel, who's an Ohio State graduate, graduated back in the early 90s. And Mike had a great kind of self-deprecating presentation where he showed a lot of pictures from his beginning in TV back in the early to mid 90s with a lot of the horrible graphics and bad haircuts and bad outfits and all that sort of thing. So we had a good time down in Columbus on Friday. Back in action this evening, and what a turnaround after a chilly weekend. 62 our high this afternoon locally, 66 New Philly, 66 Pittsburgh, and 64 up at Hopkins Airport in Cleveland. And it was even warmer off to our west. And this is one of those situations where we look upstream to see what happened today as a kind of a precursor of what may happen here tomorrow. Now, 76 like it was in St. Louis or 79 in Omaha, I think is out of reach, but still it shows you that model-busting warmth is on the way for tomorrow. There are no models that show temperatures tomorrow getting into the 70s, but I think we've got a chance at hitting 70 or above, especially in the southern part of our viewing area tomorrow, just based on what happened upstream today. So remarkably warm for this time of the year. Here's the calendar view so far in March. Now, it says 61, it's actually 62 for the high today, and this follows 5 consecutive below-average days from the 2nd through the 6th of March. Well, I'll tell you, Sunday's 37 below average. That might be the last below average day we have in at least a couple of weeks. We've got maybe some model challenges later this week and into the weekend. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that today. But if some of the modeling is right, we might try to chill down to average briefly. But I'm not sold on that idea just yet. That would be a possibility as we head into the upcoming weekend. Pardon me. Here's a look at the radar when I recorded this evening at 7:13 p.m. Bark is a little worse than the bite here. Most of this isn't reaching the ground. There could be a sprinkle or a shower cruising through as we go through the evening. That is about it. Let's take a nationwide look here, and no surprise when it's warming up in the east, it is unsettled in the west. That's usually the way it works. And sure enough, we had severe thunderstorms earlier on today in Los Angeles and San Diego, and it's still raining out there. This is the beginning of a very wet pattern coming up across the southern plains, the lower Mississippi Valley as well, with showers and thunderstorms already getting underway down towards the Red River Valley. Check out these rain totals as we head through the next 5 days or so. This is going to lead to some serious flooding. There could be a foot of rain pretty easily in parts of Louisiana, eastern Texas, Arkansas, southern Missouri. You'll notice that eastern Ohio and western PA is not in the heavy rain zone. In fact, rainfall amounts here will be pretty modest, I think, through the upcoming weekend, and most of this will be Thursday into Thursday night, although some of the rain showers might try to linger into Friday and even the weekend. I mentioned the forecast challenges we have. I'm not going to cover much of that this evening, but we've got some model disagreements, if you will, as we often do 5 or 6 days out. European model tries to dry us out Friday into Saturday. GFS and other modeling suggests the chance for rain will stick around. But back here in the near term, a quiet night for tonight under a mostly cloudy sky. I think we'll see a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow. Notice our wind particles here streaming in from the south-southwest. A nice warm wind flow. Our official forecast tomorrow, 68. Again, I'm not going to be shocked to see a few 70s showing up on the temperature map tomorrow. Wednesday promises to be even warmer. This front is slower and slower with each successive model run, and so I don't think this cold front's going to have much headway until Thursday into Thursday night, and as long as we're on the east and south side of that front, it's going to stay warm. So our forecast Wednesday is for 71, and by the way, that would tie the record high of 71 degrees on Wednesday. That record set back in 2000. All right, we should get wet at least a few times Thursday, particularly in the afternoon and evening as finally this front starts sagging south. Some raindrops around into Thursday night, and then the big question will be, will all this keep sinking south, or will the front kind of get hung up through here? I'm not sure which is the right answer at this point. When the European model is going against our other modeling, you know, it's hard to disregard the European even if it's on its own, because typically it has a better idea. Not always, though. Sometimes it has a streak where it loses to the GFS, although that's not very common. All right, I showed this on 21 News at 6. Each of the next 10 days above average by some margin. I think the highest departures from average are likely to be the middle of this week. But even through the weekend into early next week, our forecast calls for at least 10 degrees above average. Averages, first and second week of March, are in the mid-40s. We're going to blow those numbers out of the water over the next week or so. All right, what happens beyond that? Here's the climate forecast system temperature anomaly map from the 17th through the 27th. So this goes beyond the 10-day time frame, kind of the 10 to 20-day period, suggesting the warmth is going nowhere. There are some conflicting signals, though, as we take a look at the longer range. You have the CFS saying this, and then you look at some of the oscillations, the global oscillations that we look at, and one of these is called the East Pacific Oscillation. When this goes negative, it tends to favor cooler than average temperatures across the eastern U.S., and the European model suggests it goes negative around St. Paddy's Day, suggesting that maybe the warmth is going to back off around St. Paddy's Day and into the following week. So that's the EPO. And then another one of these is over the Atlantic Ocean. We call this the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation. Just like the EPO, when it's negative, in its negative phase below this black line, it tends to favor cooler than average temperatures, or at least average temperatures, in the east. And the European also has it going negative right around or just before St. Paddy's Day. So despite what the CFS says, there are some signals out there that the warmth might back off by a margin as we go into the third week or so in March. So kind of a low confidence forecast at this point, but it's a high confidence forecast that the next 10 days, hey, spring fever. Get out the golf clubs, enjoy this. It is going to be fantastic. All right, that's tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11 o'clock. Have a great Monday night.